Welcome to Student Engagement in Standards-Based Learning, Section 4.1, Align Activities. In Section 1, we discussed ways to engage learners academically, emotionally, and behaviorally. In Section 2, we explored navigate standards, as we discussed the pros, cons, and compelling whys of standards-based learning. In Section 3, generate assessments, we explored ways to incorporate meaningful assessments that align the standard, learning activity, and scoring guide. We now move to Section 4, Align Activities, which has a total of 4 sessions. In this first session, we will discuss the rest of the point, components, and 21st century skills. Please read the quotation on page 95 and follow along as I read. As I read, I want you to evaluate the connection between the quotation and student engagement. Learning is centered in the active mental engagement of the learner. What connections do you see between this quotation and student engagement? If we want to engage students, they must be mentally engaged. More learning occurs when students are mentally engaged. We have discussed the importance of engaging students in learning and shared strategies for engaging students academically, behaviorally, and emotionally. One way to engage learners is through the use of purposeful learning activities. However, it is important to be certain that the activities we select are aligned to the standard and have an impact on student learning. In the last section, you learned how to align the standard assessment and scoring guide. We now look at selecting activities that align to standards and engage learners. Please turn to page 96, where the overview and objectives for this section are listed. On page 97, Align Activities Session 1, you will find a section map of the major topics contained in this section. First, we will do an analysis of our curriculum as we identify the essential, important, and interesting parts of the curriculum. This analysis will help us determine which standards are the best candidates for learning activities and which learning activities align best with our standards. We will discuss the rest of the components of the point design model. We have discussed plan intent and organize to engage. We will now explore integrate skills, N, note adaptations, and T, target connections. You will evaluate and revise a favorite standards-based learning activity for the classroom using point. You will share your favorite standards-based learning activity with colleagues and make revisions based on feedback. Then, in the successive sessions of this section, you will experience a series of learning activities aligned to the QFL process skills. You will experience activities aligned to each of the QFL process skills, one level at a time. As with the other sections, we will take time to stop and link and internalize the most meaningful aspects of this section on your target connections card. Now, which objectives or topics on the section map Align Activities Session 1 interest you the most? Are you excited about experiencing activities for each of the QFL process skills? Are you curious about what a curriculum analysis involves? Do you think the point design model will really help you design well thought out learning activities aligned to your standards? Let's get started to find out. Please turn to page 98 in your participant manual, Research Excerpts. Read the research excerpts and highlight one that you would like to share with your administrator. Which research excerpts do you most want to share with your administrator? Do you think administrators would agree that curriculum needs to be aligned with the standards and also to what students are expected to know? What is assessed is what is taught is a powerful statement. Do you think administrators would agree that students need to be optimally attracted to the activity that will produce desired learning outcomes? Are the teachers at your school spending a lot of time deciding if their activities produce the learning outcomes they desire? And do you want to share the importance of providing professional development as an essential component of a standards-based curriculum? Has your school moved away from quality professional development? Remember, many factors have to be evaluated as we move into identifying engaging learning activities and aligning them to chosen standards. We want to make sure that the learning activities we select are essential to student learning and are aligned to the standards so that they provide the greatest impact on student performance. In this section, we will discuss the important factors to consider when choosing and aligning learning activities in a standards-based curriculum. As we begin our discussion about aligning activities, we first must look at our curriculum to determine where the learning activities can have the most impact. This involves identifying the most essential aspects of your curriculum. Please turn to page 99, Quick Curriculum Analysis. Select one content area or subject you teach. Use your curricular materials as a resource if you have them. Make a brief list of the main concepts you would absolutely have to teach if you had 1 week to give or to teach a given curriculum. Next, go back and expand your main concepts to include some of the major topics or important skills to master or remember in your curriculum. Reflect on what is on your list and why it made the list. What insights emerged as you shared your lists? Could this list change based on learner needs? Did this list make you focus on what was most crucial for your students? Please read page 100, Questions for a Quick Curriculum Analysis. Here, you will find questions to help you identify the essential, important, and interesting aspects of your curriculum. Essential pieces of your curriculum involve what is essential to mastering the discipline, the basic core skills, as well as what is essential to advance to the next grade level. Think about those topics that appear consistently on accountability testing. Also, consider topics that are timely or necessary within the discipline. For example, topics based on current events. If it is an election year, you might study political processes. Consider what is essential to meet local, state, and national standards. Important aspects of your curriculum are what you are expected to at least have introduced at your grade level. Also, consider topics good for interdisciplinary study and those topics that appear less frequently on accountability testing. Please take a sheet of blank paper and draw a target containing 3 circles like the one shown on the slide. Label each circle of the target from the center to the outside. Essential, then important, and then interesting. Review your curriculum and identify the essential, important, and interesting aspects of your curriculum. Write the topics in the respective circles of your curriculum target. Post your completed target to Canvas, Modules Section 4.1, Essential, Important, Interesting Analysis Discussion Area. Then, respond to the following prompt. How can you use this visual to help you lesson plan? Remember, knowing the essential, important, and interesting aspects of your curriculum helps you proportion your time appropriately. When you compare it to the lessons and activities you do currently, You can assess if they are focused on the essential pieces and revise as necessary. Identify the essential aspects of your curriculum and then align learning activities to the chosen standards for the greatest impact on student achievement. You will remember that we introduced the point design model at the beginning of the course as a tool for designing standards-based learning activities. Please locate and remove the laminated card from your course folder and find the POINT acronym. In Plan Intent, we discussed the importance of aligning the activity to a standard as well as a QFL process skill. Plan Intent also involves choosing an assessment and scoring guide aligned to the standard. We also discussed student engagement and the various aspects of Organize to Engage when planning learning activities. In this section, we will delve into the rest of the model. First, we will discuss how to integrate skills into learning activities. We will explore the 21st century skills, which are categorized as learning and innovation skills and life and career skills. Then, we will explore the various aspects of note adaptations and discuss modification and expansion strategies for your classroom. Finally, we will delve into target connections and discuss ways to help students make connections between the learning activity and the content being learned. The point design model helps you think through the important aspects of designing a standards-based learning activity. It helps your learning activities have a point or a purpose. You can point your learning activities toward student achievement by addressing each of these components. As we learn about the remaining components of the point model, we will discuss integrate skills first. In addition to the QFL process skills aligned to the standard, we also want to integrate other future skills in our learning activities that our standards will need now and in the future. Next, we are going to discuss what skills our students need for the future they will encounter. Please turn to page 101, Point Integrate Skills, as we discuss 21st century skills. You are going to watch the latest version of Did You Know? Shift Happens. As you view the video, identify the points you find most relevant or interesting on page 101 and think about the questions posed at the top of the page. After you watch this video, brainstorm and predict what skills students will need now and in the future, and post 3 to 5 of the skills you feel are most important to Canvas Module Section 4.1 Did You Know? Shift Happens Activity Discussion Area. Please note, if you cannot access the video in this narration, it is posted as a link in Canvas Modules Section 4.1 Did You Know? Shift Happens Activity Discussion Area. Notice that I have a time capsule here. This time capsule contains the skills students need now and in the future. I'm going to open our time capsule and reveal the 21st century skills according to P21, Partnership for 21st Century Learning. Please take a look at the predicted skills you wrote down on page 101 in your participant manual. Some of the skills you predicted may be an exact match. Other predicted skills may not be one of the skills posted. You may believe that your skills are just as crucial and essential. So next, we will explore each of the 21st century skills in more depth to see if the skills you predicted are included within the 21st century skills we have posted. On page 102 in your participant manual, please write down the 8 21st century skills mentioned on this slide. Then, please locate and remove the 21st century skills card from your course folder. On one side, you will find the learning and innovation skills of creativity, innovation, critical thinking, problem solving, communicating, collaborating, information literacy, and media literacy described. On the other side, you will find the life and career skills of leadership, initiative, self-direction, responsibility, productivity, accountability, flexibility, and social and cross-cultural skills described in more detail. Study the bulleted items under each headline and decide where you would place your predictions that are not one of the main 21st century skills. Write your prediction next to the 21st century skill where you think it belongs. For example, you may have written technology as one of the skills needed. As you read the bulleted items, you will notice that technology can be a part of information literacy as it involves accessing information effectively and evaluating information critically. What did you realize about the placement of skills within the 21st century skills? Did you notice that some of your skills were content related, such as reading and writing, which we placed under media literacy, and math skills, which we placed under problem solving? Were you glad to see the life and career skills that were listed? These skills aren't in any textbook, but are so essential for success both in school and in the future. Did you have a hard time deciding between some of the skills? For example, the skill on an index card can go with critical thinking or problem solving. Both were good options. Communicating and collaborating are also very similar. Why are the 21st century skills important in standards-based learning? Please be sure to respond to this prompt in Canvas Modules Section 4.1 Did You Know Shift Happens Activity Discussion Area. All of these skills make students better learners. If students use these skills, they are more likely to perform well and be proficient in the standards. These skills will also help students transfer what they have learned to the next grade level or to life situations. The 21st century skills are skills we need to be successful lifelong learners. If we can integrate these skills into our standards-based lessons, we give our students the tools they need to learn effectively and master the standards. Some of the skills are easier to develop in students and some are more difficult. Let's take a look at how we can foster these skills in our students and enhance learning. We have predicted the skills students will need now and in the future. We have explored the 21st century skills and the components of each skill. We know that as part of the point design model, the 21st century skills must be integrated into our learning activities to foster these skills in students. The question emerges, how do we develop these skills in our students? With specific strategies for developing these skills, we can better determine which skills can be integrated into each learning activity. First, we will form new groups for this activity. Please turn to page 103, Developing 21st Century Skills, where you will find the directions for our next activity. The color of your crayon group will determine which 21st century skills your group will address. Work as a group and brainstorm 4 to 6 strategies you use in the classroom to develop your assigned skills in students. For example, many schools now are using breakout EDUs to foster collaboration and social and cross-cultural skills on a global scale. If you took PLS's STAR course, you may have used strategies that you can share for fostering responsibility in students. If you took PLS's Collaborative Inquiry course, you studied strategies for communicating and collaborating that you can teach students. Use the corresponding webs on pages 104, 105, 106, and 107 to draft your ideas. Use the 21st Century Skills card from your course folder and the bulleted items for each skills to stimulate your discussion. Post your web in the Canvas Modules Section 4.1 Developing 21st Century Skills Crayon Groups discussion area. In the next group of slides, we are going to review some strategies that you may or may not have considered. Please add any ideas to your list that you would like to implement in your classroom. Creativity and innovation, potential strategies, poster activities, brainstorming bell ringers, creating something from a bag of items, think tanks to brainstorm ideas for writing topics, brainstorming carousels to generate ideas, critical thinking and problem solving, potential strategies, brain teasers, logic games and puzzles, assessment probes, sorting and categorizing activities, Venn diagrams, experiments, communicating and collaborating, potential strategies, cooperative learning, collaborative inquiry projects, communication techniques, conflict resolution process, discussion techniques, turn and talk, think, pair, share, looks like, sounds like, feels like T-charts, information literacy and media literacy, potential strategies, researching additional information on the web, Crunch It, tool to evaluate information on the web, Raft, role, audience, format, topic, strategy, discussing current events, studying advertising, creating a bibliography, leadership and initiative, potential strategies, alternate leading cooperative groups, peer tutoring and peer editing, setting learning goals, character education lessons, reading rewards for extra books read, red cup, green cup, signal system for help needed, self-direction and responsibility, possible strategies, anchor activities for students who finish early, self-assessment of work in progress, using I can statements, using self-responsible language, assessing their contribution to group projects, voter registration for seniors, productivity and accountability, possible strategies, students help create scoring guides, due dates for homework and projects, project-based learning activities, assigned roles in cooperative groups, class jobs, tardy policy, flexibility and social and cross-cultural skills, possible strategies, roles and responsibilities in cooperative groups, changing the class routine, flexible grouping, web communication with other classrooms globally, studying different cultures and traditions, exchanging pleasantries in other languages. Remember, there are many ways to help foster these skills in our students. In standards-based learning activities, these skills can be integrated or additional experiences added onto the lesson to foster the development. The world our students will enter will be very different than in the past. We want to make sure that our students have both the content area knowledge and the 21st century skills they will need for future success. In addition, if we can develop these skills in our students, we help them become more successful learners and enhance their ability to master the essential standards and perform well. The rest of this session will be for you to work independently through the material. There will now be narrated PowerPoints on Canvas Modules Section 4.1 to walk you through the rest of today's activities. Please be sure to post the activities in the discussion area or submitted assignment area before our next class. Remember, even though these activities are not graded, they must be completed to report your successful completion to your university partner. Immediately after the introduction, You will go to Canvas, Modules, Section 4.1, Align Activities. Your first video will explore 21st century skills that students should exhibit. We will also watch a video that showcases just how quickly our world is changing. Your second video introduces us to proprioception, where we will participate in 3 activities. We will then debrief the activities using the QFL process skills. Your third video focuses on methods used to evaluate a standards-based learning activity. We will use the same learning activity topic for various activities. Your fourth video highlights the various target connections we made in this section. Finally, your fifth video introduces us to another assessment in the course portfolio, Assessment 5, Enhancing a Standards-Based Learning Activity. Please be sure to go back to Canvas Modules Section 4.1 to see that all activities are completed. Do not forget your Section 4.1 reflection. If you have any questions while you work, please call your instructor or email your instructor. This concludes our section introduction conference call. Please continue to Modules Section 4.1 Align Proprioception.